May I ask your question? You can ask your questions later. No, now. Right now. I want to ask my questions now. And I want to have my answers now. You hear? In the capital of light and illusion, where every wrinkle was erased by powder and flashbulbs, Hollywood was once seen as the sanctuary of absolute perfection. There, only bodies measured to the millimeter could survive. The camera was so merciless that even a tiny scar could end a dream of fame. But few knew that behind those layers of carefully staged makeup were stars who carried within themselves deformities, irregularities, and physical marks so unusual that doctors recorded them in textbooks. Some were born with violet eyes as rare as gemstones. Others viewed the world through a glass eye. Some had faces swollen by pituitary disorders, and a few stood barely 1 meter tall due to skeletal dysplasia. So who were the Hollywood stars with the most extraordinary bodies? And did those differences lift them to stardom or drag them into tragedy? 1. Elizabeth Taylor. Violet eyes and a rare genetic condition. On a winter morning in 1932 at Hampstead Hospital, London, the midwife thought the light made the baby's eyes appear purple. It didn't. Elizabeth Taylor truly had lavender-colored irises, clear as quartz. The rarity didn't stop there. Doctors noted a condition called dystasis. 2 rows of eyelashes growing naturally from the same eyelid linked to the FOXC2 gene. When she signed with MGM in 1942, the crew had to switch lenses and lower the lighting intensity because the violet halo reflected around her pupils created a slight glare on film, what cinematographers then described as metallic shimmer. Beauty came at a cost. The double lashes irritated her corneas, and the heat of the studio lights overstimulated her tear ducts. Taylor had to stop filming periodically to apply glycerin drops and once suffered chorial inflammation during the Butterfield 8 promotion in 1960. Beverly Hills doctors warned of temporary vision blurring under prolonged heat, and MGM's makeup staff always carried a personal eye rinsing kit for her. On the Cleopatra set in Rome in 1963, several outdoor scenes under sunlight caused swelling, forcing a scheduled change to avoid high radiation hours. The uniqueness also fueled a media storm. In June 1964, when Los Angeles Times published photos of Taylor and Richard Burton behind the scenes of Cleopatra, her lavender dress inspired the headline, "The Purple Affair." Comment sections repeatedly mentioned her hypnotic gaze as the spark that ignited their romance. Her sensitive eyes limited her ability to wear colored contact. Lenses for special effects and cosmetic contracts had to include chorial protection clauses. At premieres during the 1970s, she avoided direct flash photography because it caused instant pain. Photographers were told to use soft reflectors. Her legend ended in 2011 in Los Angeles when Dr. Howard Braverman confirmed what the public had debated for decades. The violet color was real, and so were the double lashes. In an industry built on illusion, Taylor's natural rarity was both a charm and a lifelong occupational hazard. From eyes no one believed could exist, the story turns to Hollywood's brightest smile, one held together by porcelain and adhesive. Chapter 2. Clark Gable, the metal-scented smile of a Hollywood king. In 1933, Clark Gable had all his teeth extracted at a Beverly Hills dental hospital due to severe gum disease. From that moment on, the king of Hollywood lived with a full set of porcelain dentures fixed by zinc adhesive, which left a metallic aftertaste. During It Happened One Night, 1934, colleagues heard faint clicks during his lines. And by Gone with the Wind, 1939, the film crew had to choreograph kissing scenes between Gable and Vivian Lee because of the glue's strong odor under the hot carbon arc lights. Mint candies and strong mouthwash were used to mask the smell, but the chemical residue on his gums lingered. The side effects lasted for decades. The adhesive caused gum irritation and occasional loosening during long dialogues. Some emotional scenes in The Tall Men, 1955, had to be reshot due to muffled speech. In private life, he carried replacement glue and used strong disinfectants that left a metallic scent on his clothes. Gossip columns joked about his expensive kisses, but the real toll was chronic discomfort, pain while eating, and the mental strain of maintaining an illusion of perfection. His private life bore that mark too. During his 3-year marriage to Carol Lombard, jokes about his metal smile filled the tabloids. After Lombard's tragic plane accident in 1942, witnesses said Gable insisted on keeping his dentures in during the funeral, as if afraid of losing the face the world adored. Later, he avoided long kissing scenes, preferred medium-close shots, and chose roles with fewer extended lines to prevent the glue from cracking during takes. When he passed away in 1960, medical records confirmed he had lived nearly 30 years without a single natural tooth. That reconstructed smile was the bright side of the silver screen, and the lingering taste of chemicals beneath it. From that, the story shifts to another pair of eyes, bulging, intense, and unforgettable. B. Davis, the fierce eyes that became a trademark. In June 1934 at Warner Brothers, B. Davis's gaze froze the audition room. Her narrow eye sockets made her eyeballs appear more prominent, the upper lids lifted high, and her pupils dilated strongly under light. The resulting intensity was something cameras adored, but people often found unsettling. The biological side effects weren't pleasant. Dryness, glare sensitivity, and headaches due to overactive focusing reflexes under classic studio lighting. Several close-ups in of human bondage required artificial tears, and some shoots had to reduce exposure to avoid glare reflections. The impact extended beyond the camera. In the 1930s, tabloids mocked her as fragile, and Warner Brothers received letters urging a softer image. She was repeatedly advised to undergo eyelid surgery to reduce protrusion, but doctors warned the risk of scarring and muscle damage could impair her expressions. Davis refused, enduring eye pain to keep her most powerful tool. Her unusual appearance also caused professional clashes. Davis demanded roles built around her piercing gaze, refusing passive female parts. Tensions with Warner peaked between 1942 and 1944, when she sued for role control and the press called her the actress who stares through director's die. On Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, 1962, her long feud with Joan Crawford exploded on set. A fall that required 8 stitches became headline news. Less known is that after the accident, doctors restricted bright lighting on Davis due to her sensitivity, forcing crew adjustments for the final scenes. In later years, Davis refused any cosmetic eye procedures. On CBS Sunday Morning in 1980, she said bluntly that keeping her money-making eyes was a professional choice. The physical discomfort and judgment never dulled her power. They turned that intense stare into a visual signature of an era. From eyes that could unsettle anyone, the story moves to another man's half-lit gaze. One eye real, one glass, but both seen through pretense. Or Willie Nelson, the fiery face and rope-like hands. Few stars ever gave Hollywood's cameramen much trouble because of blood vessels. Born in 1933 in Abbott, Texas, Willie Nelson stood out early for his perpetually flushed face as if sunburned for life. Many assumed it was part of his cowboy tan. But in truth, Nelson suffered from facial telangiectasia, a condition where hundreds of small blood vessels appear under the skin, forming a red-purple web around his nose and cheeks. Under stage or studio lights, his face reflected like burnished copper, forcing crews to apply cool-tone powder to reduce glare. During the 1970s, as Nelson transitioned into acting from the Electric Horseman to Honeysuckle Rose, makeup artists joked, "No need for the Texas filter." His skin glows naturally. But it wasn't just aesthetics. The condition came with chronic eyelid inflammation, making his eyes swell and water under strong light. A Nashville doctor once advised him to avoid late-night performances, but Nelson brushed it off, saying, "I was born to burn, not to cool." His hands were equally distinctive. Thin skin, thick veins coiled like cords, partly inherited, partly sculpted by decades of guitar playing. His hands looked like those of someone pulled from fire, every knuckle a knot of endurance. Yet those same hands shaped the sound of outlaw country. Nelson once told Rolling Stone in 1981, "The veins in my hands are music. They know when I'm happy or hurting." His unusual appearance fueled rumors. Some said he drank too much whiskey, bursting his capillaries. Others claimed he tattooed red veins to stand out on stage. Both were false. In his memoir, It's a Long Story, Nelson wrote, "My skin is red because my heart beats strong. If I had to choose between white powder and real blood, I'd choose blood." In a world of polished male stars, Willie Nelson appeared as a blazing cowboy, strange yet authentic. The world looked at him with curiosity. He looked back through half-closed red-leonine eyes, the eyes of a man who had seen too many lights. And across the country, there was another man, one who had only a single real eye, yet could see straight through deceit. 5. Peter Falk, the glass eye that made Columbo legendary. Before the world met the rumpled detective in a shabby trench coat from Columbo, few knew Peter Falk had only one real eye. At age 3, he was diagnosed with retinoblasto at Mount Sinai Hospital, New York. Doctors removed his left eye to stop the tumor from spreading to his brain. From then on, Falk lived with a glass eye so well craft-rafted that even colleagues forgot. At 25, when he applied to the CIA, he